Hello and welcome to the first episode of This Week on Q. I'm your host, Derek Lambert, kicking things off with 3 things you need to know. This week, Apple introduced the world to its latest and greatest creation, the iPhone 7. CNN reports that iPhone 7 sales are through the roof. The new iPhone will not have a headphone jack. Wireless headphone pods will have to be purchased as an accessory. Hillary Clinton is set to return to the campaign trail after having a case of pneumonia. This comes only 2 months before the November presidential election, and Clinton's condition isn't severe, but it is believed that she has suffered from dehydration as well. A family in Brazil now welcomes their 13th son. Each son's name in the family starts with the letter R, and every child in the family is a boy, and each son is named after a professional soccer player. Those are 3 things you need to know. Now, let's start the show. You might notice things look a little different this semester on QUTV. This fall, we're going in-depth on our coverage to give you the story inside the story. This week on Q will feature in-depth reports, current events, and live guests. It's all part of QU Media's comprehensive team coverage of all things Quincy University. Topping the news this week, Mother Nature got a little moody in the last couple weeks, which led to the temporary closing of a popular student hangout. Just as students arrived on campus for the new semester, excessive rain in the Quincy area flooded the basement of Brenner Library, prompting the university to close the Student Success Center for repairs. Here's an in-depth look from this week on Q. Students use the Student Success Center every day, and it definitely helps that it is now open 24 hours. Students were unable to use this facility for a little over a week because of heavy rainfalls leading to flooding in the center. This week on Q was able to speak to some students about what they saw when they entered the facility after the rain.
Right when we went into the SSC, I was wearing Birkenstocks and they filled with water, right when I walked in. So then I thought, oh my gosh, I get flooded in here. We walked around and the puddles were getting bigger and bigger. So I used my phone and I got in to where Christine Tracy's office is and by those other computer labs. All the computers were still on, so I was like, oh, maybe no water came in here. But when you looked into the rooms, there was standing water, and so we investigated further and we went through everywhere, and almost every study room had standing water. For the majority, the carpets were soaked, but then in a few rooms there was probably a good 2 or 3 inches of water above the carpet.
These students also took a great initiative. When they realized that there was a problem, the proper individuals were called in order to take care of the situation.
And I made sure Christine Tracy was contacted so they could get resolved right away.
Not only did the flooding affect student studies, it also affected tutoring and other on-campus jobs that take place in the SSC. This week, On Q was able to speak with a tutor who also works the front desk to get her take on the issue.
As a worker, it meant that tutoring was halted, so we were supposed to start tutoring actually that Monday, the first day that we were closed. So unfortunately, we had to postpone tutoring just by 1 week.
Luckily, because of the efforts made by the Student Success Center, what was thought to be a month-long cleaning process then turned into only a week-long process. Students were able to claim their space back and get back to business. For more on this story, check out the latest copy of The Falcon on campus. And for This Week on Q, I'm Derek Lambert. Speaking of water, the Quincy University women's swim team has a leak, but this is one QU is happy to have. QUTV reporter Scott Bruxford dives in to get a better look.
Building a new program for the Quincy University women's swim team meant recruiting was the foundation for success. Coach Rachel Slaughter went above and beyond to bring in a unique freshman to this year's team. We had the chance to catch up with Athena Leeks from Iceland to talk about college, culture, and much more.
The biggest challenge is for sure the language, speaking a different language every day, not understanding everything what people are saying. Also just the environment is a lot different, the culture here.
The decision to attend Quincy University was driven by a lifetime dream to go to college in the United States.
I just really like the school. It's like always been a dream of mine to go to college in the United States. And I just really like Quincy. It's like a small university, so you like get to know the people here and the professors.
Athena's adjustment to college has been an easy one due to all of the help that she has received from students and faculty at QU.
It's going a lot better than I expected. I thought it was going to be way harder, but everybody's been so helpful helping me here with like studying and stuff, so it's been good.
Warm weather, new clothes, and a recognition of friendly faces were all listed as cultural favorites. For more information on the women's swim team, check out the Quincy University Athletics page. This is Scott Bruxford for QUTV.
Coming up on This Week, a look at the latest national news and how an Illinois resident attempts to break a bizarre world record. Stay with us.
Join me, Coach Marty Bell, head basketball coach of the Quincy University Hawks, live from Chicks on the River every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. or on ESPN 1440 for the Coach Marty Bell Show. Hear from our coaches and players as Ben and I recap the previous games and preview our upcoming opponents. Grab your friends and family and come out to Chicks on the River for a great meal and meet the Hawks. QU men's basketball, Chicks on the River, and ESPN 1440, a winning combination. And as always, it truly is.
Welcome back to This Week on Q. An Illinois man wants to break a world record, and he's using his background in welding to do it. The world's largest teeter-totter could be sitting in his backyard. CNN's Greta Patrick got a view from the top.
It sends people 50 feet in the air. It's more than 100 feet long, and it may just be the world's largest teeter-totter.
50 feet. 8 inches.
77-year-old retired welder Chuck Ewing started working on it in 2014.
At first I thought I want to build me a big wind chime, and I looked on the internet and I found one that was out of my reach. So I said, well, how about a teeter-totter?
His goal, to make it into the Guinness Book of World Records. To do that, Chuck had an engineer out to measure the seesaw and 2 officials to witness him do it, all while his neighbor Norm Dietz took photos.
The 2 witnesses were here just to verify that the engineer was here and that he did it, and so, that nobody could do anything.
Chuck says he wants to make it into the book so his legacy lives on.
My grandkids, great-grandkids, someday they'll bring out the book and take to school and say, this is my great-great-grandpa that built this thing.
So I think it would be a huge accomplishment for him, and then it's that legacy that goes forward for his family.
Chuck says he never could have finished this monumental task without the never-ending support of his family.
The biggest thing is they didn't say, Dad, you're nuts, or you're crazy, you're going to kill yourself, or they just let me do my thing,
Now all that's left is to wait and see if the teeter-totter makes it into the Guinness Book of World Records.
The effects of the 9/11 attack are still felt 15 years later, this time in the courtroom. After defying a veto threat from the Obama administration, the House passed a bill to allow 9/11 victims to sue Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has denied any role in the attacks and has never been formally implicated, but 15 of the 19 hijackers that carried them out were of Saudi descent. Coming up, we'll explain why the QU soccer team prefers Reese's Pieces to M&M's. This Week on Q, we'll be right back.
QUTV is more than a news outlet.
1 in 5 undergrads work at least 35 hours a week, year-round.
Students involved with QUTV learn life lessons, create lasting memories, and gain the experience needed to succeed in future careers.
Students need to be involved with QUTV as a viewer or as a participant because we need to know what's going on around our campus.
Knowledge is powerful, and QUTV News serves to inform not only the students, but the Quincy University community as a reliable and powerful news network.
The new school year brings plenty of changes on campus. A limited menu and shortened Hawks hangout hours have caused QU's students to wonder about the future of campus dining. QTV's Evan Powell takes a closer look.
New hours and a limited menu has raised students' interest in the future of the Hawks Hangout.
There's no additional changes to the Hangout at this time. but we do meet every year with student engagement and with business and finance, and we sort of review and consider all the possibilities when it comes to the dining program.
Due to lack of state funding, shortening the hours to 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. was a move to make the Hawks Hangout more efficient. The cafeteria now offers new menu items to accommodate students' want and variety.
So, it already obviously has changed quite a bit over the last year and a half. You know, we have the late night grill now here at the cafeteria that's available. We have the hot and cold food options, snacks and beverages that are available all morning, afternoon, and night from 7 to 10 during the week from the retail area here.
The main dining room has also lowered breakfast prices and expanded offerings in the retail store. Foods that aren't available in the Hawks Hangout can be purchased in the main dining room.
The retail is open during the week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Straight through and never closes. On the weekends, it opens at 11 a.m. and it's open all the way till 10 p.m. So, yeah, actually the retail hours of this space here are longer than what the Hangout ever was.
As of right now, there is no plans to change the Hawks Hangout. Joe Borderwick also says that constructive feedback and criticism is vital for Chartwells and for students with meal plans. Chartwells is the #1 dining service provider for college campuses. The dining program looks to continue expansion to fit the interest of students. For This Week on Q, I'm Evan Powell.
With us now we have Evan Powell. Evan, could you tell us a little bit about the future of dining on campus?
Well, I spoke to Joe Borderwick the other day, and he told me that they're trying to increase variety. They want to make the Hawks Hangout to still have their limited menu, but because the CAF's also going to offer it, so they want to be more efficient with what they're doing.
Could you talk a little bit what is to be expected of the Hawks Hangout? I know students are really worried about if it's potentially going to close, because I know that's what people are kind of saying, and if that was something you specifically asked Joe.
Yeah, well, as of right now, they said there's going to be no changes, but a lot of the things they used to offer in the UC are actually now in the CAF. And the CAF's hours are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can come in anytime you want before the late night grill opens, and you can get anything like you can get special omelets you used to get in the UC, but it's also in the CAF now. So there's not really big changes. It's just they want to be more efficient.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us on set.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Evan. Soccer season is getting started, but the QU men's soccer team has already scored an unconventional hat trick. QTV's Lydia Cruz explains.
Anyone who's been part of a team knows it's like being part of a family. But for 3 Quincy students, that sentiment is more than just an age-old metaphor thrown around in locker rooms and pregame motivational speeches. It's reality. This year, 3 members of the Reis family are storming Jack McKenzie Field together as part of the QU men's soccer team. Brothers Taylor and Cooper Reis returned for another year of play.
My name is Taylor Reis. My name is Cooper Reis.
With one new addition to the Hawks family, their cousin Aubrey Reis. For the Quincy-born trio, this is hardly their first family rodeo. The 3 have played together on various soccer teams over the years, including their time at Quincy Notre Dame. So while it's by no means the Reis's inaugural shared squad experience, this fall marks the first time Taylor, Cooper, and Aubrey will all play together at the collegiate level. Off the field, these 3 are more than just corner kicks and shots on goal. And the best way to get to know a Reis is to ask a Reis.
Probably Taylor. Aubrey. I guess Aubrey. Me. Cooper. I'd probably go with Aubrey. Just I wouldn't even say funny. Just kind of, you just laugh at. It's definitely not likely. Probably Coop's loud sometimes, but in his own way. Cooper. Me.
Aubrey, maybe.
Probably Taylor. None of us. Probably Taylor, yeah. But Cooper and I will keep improving.
I'd say Taylor.
Right now, I guess me, but in the future, maybe, hopefully not.
have to say Aubrey. He plays the most. I have tried to get away from playing it as much, but it's very addicting.
I guess I'd say Aubrey, but I can beat him every once in a while. So.
I'd have to say I'm the best. Taylor might get me every once in a while, but Cooper not really. So, and when I do beat Cooper in succession, you know, a lot of games, you don't really get mad, so that's not good.
To learn more about the Reis hat trick and the rest of your 2016 QU men's soccer team, check out QUHawks.com. The Hawks will kick off a 4-game home stretch here this Friday at Legends Stadium. Show your support for the men's and women's soccer teams as they take on Southern Indiana in their first GLVC home game.
Lydia now joins us to discuss the latest in QU sports. What can we expect from the QU men's soccer team this season?
Well, you can always expect good things from the QU men's soccer team. They're coming off a trip to Germany that was really successful over the summer, 7 games. They lost 0 of them, won 5, tied 2. But they did hit a few hiccups going into the start of their GLVC play this year, a loss on Friday. They tied yesterday, tied Sunday with McKendree. But still, you can expect elite level of play if you come out and support them, which you should this Friday.
Perfect. Well, you were also at the football game on Saturday. The Hawks are off to a great start, going 2-0. What do you think about that?
I think that's really impressive. I learned that the last time the Hawks have started out 2-0 was 1998. So it's pretty exciting for our campus. And the win on Saturday was 64-7. And even though it's non-conference play, I think it spells out exciting things for the team as they head into GLVC play next Saturday at Lincoln.
Perfect. And could you talk a little bit about what went down at Pepsi Arena over the weekend as well?
Yeah, that was the QU women's volleyball team hosted the QU tournament, which was 6 teams playing over 2 days. QU women kind of had a rough patch. They went 1-3 over the tournament, but they finished on a high note by beating, I think it was Bayville. No, that was the football team. They hit Marysville on Sunday, and Taylor McMonigal was voted to the all-conference team for that tournament. So that's pretty exciting for Quincy. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today, Lydia. I look forward to more sports updates, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Yes. Growing up, I had one deaf friend, and that was the only deaf person I knew before coming to school here at QU. And now I regularly get to hang out and socialize with the deaf community, which has been awesome. Sign language isn't exactly like learning another spoken language because you use your body, facial expressions, your hands are your instruments. So it is definitely learning a new language. It has its own grammar and syntax and everything. It's not exactly like English like a lot of people think it is.
Welcome back to This Week on Q. At the end of the show, we like to keep you up to date in entertainment. Here's a look at the latest in Hollywood.
Cactus 1549, runway 4, clear for takeoff.
Cactus 1549, clear for takeoff. I'll never get over how beautiful it is up here.
Life's easier in the air.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1549. I've lost thrust on both engines. We are turning back towards LaGuardia.
I have an emergency. He lost both engines. Returning immediately.
Today, we begin with our investigation on the crash of U.S. Airways Flight 1549.
Cactus 1549, if we can get it for you, do you want to try to land runway 13?
We are unable. We may end up in the Hudson. This was not a crash. This was dual engine loss at a lower altitude than any jet in history, with 155 souls on board.
Cactus 1549, it's going to be left traffic, runway 31.
Unable.
Okay, what do you need to land?
No one has ever trained for an incident like that.
1549, runway 4 is available.
I don't think we can make any runway. What about over to our right?
Off your right side is Teterboro Airport.
Now, look, I'm sorry if you're frustrated, but our job is to investigate how a plane ended up in the Hudson River.
What if I did get this wrong? Endangered the lives of all those passengers.
Okay, you're scaring me now, Sully. You can land runway 1 Teterboro.
We can't make it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
I've delivered 1 million passengers over 40 years, but in the end, I'm going to be judged on 208 seconds. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
I'm sorry, say again, Cactus?
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
And that's going to do it for this week on Q. Thank you to all our contributors and guests this week. I'm Derek Lambert, and we'll be back next week with an in-depth look at what's happening on Q.